The American judicial system faces criticisms regarding issues like overcriminalization, racial disparities, lack of accountability, and a decline in public trust, leading to concerns about its effectiveness and fairness. United States has a high incarceration rate compared to other developed nations, with a disproportionate number of Black and brown Americans incarcerated, often for relatively minor offenses. Some argue that the system compels innocent people to plead guilty to avoid harsher sentences. There's a perception that the system focuses on punishment rather than rehabilitation. Law enforcement officers are often shielded from accountability due to protections like qualified immunity, leading to concerns about justice and fairness. Police officers are not held accountable for their actions. It erodes public confidence in the institution and its ability to serve and protect. A lack of accountability can create an environment where officers feel they can act with impunity, leading to a higher risk of misconduct, corruption, and abuse of power. When the public feels that police officers are not held accountable, it can lead to resentment, distrust, and a breakdown in community relations. A lack of accountability can also negatively impact the morale and performance of law enforcement officers, as they may feel that their actions are not taken seriously or that they are not held to the same standards as the public. When officers are not accountable, they may be less likely to make sound decisions, as they are not held responsible for the consequences of their actions. The current system for holding police officers accountable can be complex, with delays in investigations and a lack of clarity, which can lead to a perception that officers are not being held accountable. Collective bargaining agreements and other restrictions can limit the ability of investigators to thoroughly investigate allegations of misconduct, making it difficult to hold officers accountable. A lack of transparency in police investigations and disciplinary proceedings can further erode public trust and make it difficult to hold officers accountable. A culture of us versus them within law enforcement can make it difficult for officers to report misconduct or to hold their colleagues accountable. The US criminal justice system disproportionately incarcerates Black and brown Americans, even for relatively minor offenses. This disparity contributes to wealth inequality and reinforces systemic racism. Some argue that the system compels innocent people to plead guilty, further exacerbating the problem. The legal system is often criticized for being overly complex, making it difficult for individuals to navigate and access justice. Insufficient resources and funding can lead to delays, backlogs, and inadequate legal representation for those who cannot afford it. Some argue that politics and money influence the legal system, leading to biased outcomes and a lack of accountability. America's criminal justice system is rotten to its core. Though that certainly does not justify the violence and wanton destruction of property perpetrated by far too many protesters, it does provide useful context for comprehending the intensity of their anger and the fecklessness of the government's response. If America is burning, it is fair to say that America's criminal justice system, which is itself a raging dumpster fire of injustice, lit the fuse. What is the proper role of a criminal justice system in a liberal democracy? Simply put, it is to employ state-sanctioned violence to discourage and punish conduct that threatens the very fabric of civil society. Things like murder, violent assault, theft, and fraud. So the first and most basic pathology of America's criminal justice system is that it vastly exceeds the scope of what a criminal justice system may legitimately seek to address, while routinely using force against peaceful people in morally indefensible ways. How do you address this issue? To address the lack of accountability in law enforcement, reforms should focus on strengthening oversight mechanisms, promoting transparency, and ensuring fair and effective disciplinary processes, while also involving communities in scrutiny and fostering a culture of accountability within the police force. Establish or strengthen independent bodies that can investigate complaints and misconduct allegations against police officers, ensuring impartiality and transparency. Encourage community involvement in the scrutiny of policing, allowing citizens to voice their concerns and participate in oversight processes. Make data on police actions, including use of force incidents and complaints, more accessible to the public, allowing for better scrutiny and accountability. Conduct regular independent audits and inspections of police forces to identify areas for improvement and ensure compliance with standards. Implement and utilize body-worn cameras effectively to capture incidents and provide a record of police interactions, promoting transparency and accountability. Encourage open communication between police and the public, fostering trust and understanding. Hold public scrutiny sessions where police leaders can be questioned by the public and held accountable for their actions. Develop clear guidelines and procedures for handling complaints and disciplinary matters, ensuring consistency and fairness. Conduct prompt and thorough investigations into all allegations of misconduct, ensuring that those responsible are held accountable. Implement sanctions that are proportionate to the severity of the misconduct, ensuring that officers who engage in wrongdoing are held accountable. Establish review mechanisms for disciplinary decisions, allowing for appeals and ensuring that decisions are fair and just. Provide comprehensive training and education to police officers on ethical conduct, use of force, and accountability, emphasizing the importance of serving the community. Hold police leaders accountable for the actions of their officers, ensuring that they create a culture of accountability within their forces. Promote a culture of accountability within the police force by emphasizing values such as integrity, fairness, and respect for the law. Protect and support police officers who report misconduct, ensuring that they are not subjected to retaliation. And finally, implement robust vetting procedures to ensure that only individuals with a strong moral character and no history of criminal behavior are allowed to serve as police officers. Thanks for watching our video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.